And now, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your political correctness and your underwear, because we're heading into the most heartfelt, emotional, beautiful song on this album, Graveyard Boogie. The thing is, Graveyard Boogie basically is a joke that became a song. My good friend Alex is someone who is known in the prog scene. A lot of artists know him. Weirdly enough, he is one of those world famous fans, I guess. And he contributed gloriously to the campaign for the Days the Clock Stopped. So I told him, like, well, you've contributed so much, you're allowed to have a song. And he gave me two suggestions, which were Your Mama and Dancing in the Graveyard with Dead Babies. Both are not exactly the kind of subjects I would write songs about normally, far from it. But I figured, you know what? If I could make this into a wholesome thing, it could still be tasteless as fuck, but it could also be really funny. The story behind Graveyard Boogie basically is about a witch, a young lady, who goes to the graveyard to dance with her friends. And Alex asked me if I wanted to do a swing jazz kind of track. And I felt that, you know, doing something swing jazzy is fun, you know, it is fun to work with that. I was a bit aware, like, okay, but I really should not make a song that literally sounds like all those other bands, because then there's no point in me writing it. So I did add a lot of TDW isms in there. I had so much fun making this, even though it is completely tasteless and the subject matter is objectively horrible, but it just works really well. And then there's obviously two people that I really want to mention for this track. The first one being Hoedt. Now Hoedt is an amazing singer who's been a part of my records over the years already. She's been in multiple choirs. She sang leads on the song A String of Repeats on the last album. You know, Laura and me, we're a really good team. She asked me how crazy she could go in terms of voices and recording and whatnot. And I was like, go nuts. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Just make it fun, make it work. And she delivered. She over-delivered even. There were so many layers and so many tracks.
Are you ready? It's crazy time! Are you ready for the Graveyard Boogie? Oh yeah, come on and dance with me. Is she calling for some demon?
Would she call these ancient words right now?
Are we hearing people screaming?
Why's she going through these ancient rites?
Curses, magic is forbidden.
Now the ground is shaking all around.
Oh no, what's happening? Take it up with Alex.
When I finally listened to the final thing, it really felt like, oh my god, this is so beautifully messy, and this is great. And obviously Laura is, as a singer, she is just someone who is very capable, has a great voice, so she is able to put her stamp on a record anyway. But Graveyard Boogie, I think, is her masterpiece in terms of all the silly little voices and the laughing and the comedy that she added to it. And of course, when we're talking about comedy, I wanted to have a guest solo by someone who is just as progressive, just as weird, but also understands how important having fun is and how important it is to do shit that is just out there. And that's why there was only one guitarist I really wanted for this song, and that was Michael Mills. Mike Mills, Mr. Toehider himself. Mike is known for Toehider, for Arion, for all the amazing stuff that he's done. And if I had like 10% of the talent that he possesses, I would be a happy man. I mean, I don't, but it's just the fact that he wanted to do a solo on this track and wanted to contribute his signature madness by adding a solo that could be described as Iron Maiden on speed. Just added so much to it. So honestly, regarding Graveyard Boogie, it is one of the most fun songs I've ever had the pleasure to make. And I'm just very curious to see how people respond, because maybe if this is something people like, I might actually consider doing a whole album with crazy music like this, with silly subjects and whatnot, because a sense of humor is very important to me. It's like my music tends to be pretty dark and pretty intense because my music is my outlet for my darker thoughts and for my cynicism and for my sarcasm. But I've also really noticed making this song that it was weirdly therapeutic to just laugh and just go crazy. And you know, okay, fuck it, let's do a xylophone lead and let's do la 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 la. you know, and all these weird voices, because it just works. It just worked so well. Traveler is one of the final tracks that I've written based on a prompt I got. This prompt I got from Ronald. And it was mostly a song that I wanted to write about someone being on the move always. Every time he settles down, he feels that he is being tied down to that place and that he's not able to develop. So it's a weird kind of tension between wanting to find your home base where you can be yourself and where you can be happy and where you can be the calmer version of yourself, but also craving that movement, craving that continuous flow in which you are developing yourself. And I think it worked out really well. Personally, this track is great for me because I felt that I could really experiment in putting really weird things together once again. Another choice in the universe had the electronic influences, but I think I upped those to 11 in this track. Almost, well, I heard people compare it to The Prodigy, like the really hard intro. And there's one person I have not mentioned yet regarding the choirs, and that is Rikke, an old friend of mine, also a great singer who has been involved in multiple TDW records. She's now a part of Sowulo, but she's obviously known for her work in Pyrolysis and her own work under the name Renew. Rikke is just a singer that I want to have on every one of my projects now, because she also has one of those voices that just really works in a choir context. And also, once again, she is just very professional. She knows what she's doing. She basically records everything you ask her to, and then she does more. But there's one thing about this track that I really cannot overemphasize, and that is the inclusion of Morean from Alkaloid. Now, Morean is a musician who I've obviously been aware of over the years for his work in Alkaloid and Dark Fortress and many other things that he has done. But what he contributed to this song, I asked him to do a guitar solo. I just told him, like, hey, here's the ending section, and I want you to do a really angry, atonal, nasty guitar solo. So the solo ended up being crazy as all hell. As you can hear, it's a beautiful kind of madness that he adds to the song. But there's one thing he added that I did not anticipate. The mid-section originally was a band-based section, with the bass starting and then the drum building it up and, you know, becoming a band thing. And then he decided to record 5 layers of acoustic guitar, Spanish acoustic guitar, and claps, like, and these things. And he just basically took my song and pushed it to a whole new level. And I was like, oh, that is so incredibly cool. Because for me, it's like, I know that when I write my own music, I'm already pushing myself to do things that I've never done before, you know, trying to progress. But when someone else takes your song and is like, hey, I tried this thing, you don't have to use it, but you can just check it, and just translates it in such a beautiful and different way. But the first time I heard that in the mix, I was like, this is so fucking killer. So yeah, Morean, man, thank you so much. You have, I already like my song, but you basically pushed it to 220, and it was definitely worth it. Absolutely. Hope song number 1, as I told you before, was already the online song, etc. And I sent that to Rich when I was working on it, before I even made that YouTube video a few years ago. And his response was, yeah, it sounds like the start of an epic. So that got me thinking. I was like, that's a good point. And I already had a concept in mind for that song, a concept about the fact that we do live in a dark world. We do live in a world that has a lot of problems right now. It has been having a lot of problems for hundreds of years, but these days, especially in our communication, the way people interact with one another, the amount of almost deliberate not wanting to understand each other, and the feeling that there's so much disconnection between others. I feel that there's a certain grimness around the world. And then sometimes it's good to realize that hope, the hope for a better future, the hope for a better world, is the thing that keeps us going. Like, hope is the urge that we share, because even if we don't agree on politics, life choices, etc., we can still have hope that the world will get better. And we can still use that hope to connect with one another, I think. And I try to give my own take on it, and I hope it worked, obviously. All the choir people that sang on this also really lifted the overall feeling that this song had. This song really felt like a closing epic. And especially for those of you who are interested in that, if you downloaded the album, I think by now you got at least a pre-order, people should have the album by now. If you play Hope Song 1 and 2 in sequence, then you will hear that the ending note of Hope Song 1 segues into part 2, because if I would ever play this live, which might happen, I mean, I'm not saying it never will, but we'll see. If we would ever play this live, I would actually prefer to play part 1 and then part 2 immediately after, and make it like this 12-minute thing, because then it actually is this complete little story about hope, about wanting to see the world go to a better place. Of course, I had to ask someone to play a guest solo on this grand finale, and Lucas de la Rosa is a person whose work I admire a lot. They are amazing in their guitar execution, the way they write songs, the way they approach their whole career, and they are one of the best meme lords I know. I mean, they got me in stitches many times with the Facebook posts that they do. And it's just something that I felt really strongly about. Like, I want to work with Lucas once. I want to get them included in this record. And they delivered. They delivered so amazingly well. Like, it's the kind of shredding that you could use to power a small country, if you know what I mean. It's just great stuff. And Lucas, I really cannot thank you enough for providing your color to this song about hope, bringing the album to, in my opinion, a logical conclusion. For me, Hope Song really is a symbol and a reminder for myself, because I know for a fact that I am not always the most hopeful person, far from it. And I am human, like we all are. I have moments that I feel very strongly about certain things, and the Descartesian truth, like, you gotta doubt everything. Doubt the world, doubt your own convictions, doubt your own experiences, doubt everything, and try to objectively view the world as much as you can, which is sometimes really hard because we have emotions, we have experiences, we have a life in which we go through things that shapes us. And in that sense, I think Hope Song works because it is not just the closing song of this record, but if one thing for me personally, it's a reminder that we are connected, and we might be different, we all are different, and that's what is beautiful about it. We're all different individuals with our own lives, with our own way of doing things, but we are connected. And our hope to have a world in which we can all coexist and be as happy as we can be, that's the very fabric that keeps us all together, I think. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the featurette. That was all I wanted to tell you guys about the Fountains album. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me rambling and talking about this, and I hope you enjoyed all the little visuals and everything you've seen. And of course, I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy, and I want to thank you for watching this, for being a part of this experience. Thank you if you bought the record. Thank you if you streamed the record online. Every little bit helps. You guys are really amazing. And of course, I hope to see you all again at another production, because there's going to be much more music coming up in the next couple of years, so, you know, better watch this space. But for now, I'm just going to kick back, relax, and think about this album for a day, and how proud I am of everyone who contributed to this. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and see you all next time. How long is this going?